feel like everybody should have guns.
I agree. Wholeheartedly.
I do too.
Even children.
I dislike guns.
She from a soft-ass
I mean,
country
but
where
you from
nobody
England,
shoots each
so
other.
Y'all don't even have guns out there.
They
I
do it
just
real
think-
intimately. They stab each other.
Yeah, I just think guns
Just
are
girly.
so impersonal, you know, like if
Have you
I'm
been to
gonna
the gun
hurt
range
a
before?
person, I want to like be this far away as I shank
I don't
you.
think it was like they
You
want to
know?
hurt. It's more protection.
Yeah,
It's protection versus
Yeah.
like wanting to hurt
You
someone.
you
When
been
was
to
the
the gun
last
range
time
before?
you heard someone protect someone with a gun in the news?
All the
It's
time.
All the time.
It's
What
No,
you mean?
so many
like,
videos out there. Did y'all see that one video
Literally
where
for
that
New
guy
Year's,
followed
like
him to
New
the
Year's
house?
Eve, all I'm seeing are videos of people just shooting their guns in the air, and then like the next day there's like, oh, boy gets hit from bullet falling from the ground. Like most people are not showing
That
off
happens
the
once a year.
protection.
Yeah, that's a miracle
skills.
right there.
Like
How
the
the
protection
hell could that
skills
happen?
of a gun.
Stuff like
right?
that,
Like
I
no
mean-
one,
Like
no
once
one
a
is
year.
like,
That's
oh
once
my
a year.
god, I'm gonna take this picture so everyone knows how well protected I am and how much I'm gonna protect my family.
That's me
Like
all the
check
time.
me
Facts.
out.
Facts, like don't fuck with me.
No. When you're saying you don't fuck with me, I don't feel like that's you saying like I'm a defender. I think that's
That's
you
how
trying
I
to show
am.
you that you're tough. I think it's aggressive.
I think you're wholeheartedly misrepresenting why Americans want to carry guns, because for 99% of guys that I know who have guns either like in their fucking possession at all times, by their bedstand, etc., you would never know. They don't flex them on social media. You might, yes, you see like extremely visible examples, like, you know, when a rapper gets shot or when you see a
Yeah.
crazy robbery happen when somebody follows somebody home from the club or whatever. But for the average American, they're not posting their guns on social media. They're not NRA members. They're not like showing, you know, it's not a flex. It's just, from my perspective, if you're a man and you live in Los Angeles, just for example, and you don't own a gun and you have, you know, women and children living in your home, you're really
You're
not
crazy.
doing what you're supposed to be doing to protect them, because you're in a situation where anybody could run up in your house and take whatever the fuck they want from you. And that is not, is that statistically super likely to happen? I mean, not really, but we see it happen all the time.
All the time.
All the time.
Could you not protect yourself without a gun?
No.
No, not against
mean,
like
you
if there
could.
if you're like there's been
Why not?
videos.
Why
when-
not?
So someone breaks
because
into
they
your house
might
with a
be-
gun
they
and you're
might
going
be
to what?
stronger
Pull
than
out a
you.
butterfly
the
knife?
Problem,
They
the
might be
problem
stronger
is
than
that
you, physically
the
stronger
problem
than
is
you.
that you're scared someone's gonna rob you with a gun.
Right.
So you need a gun
I've been
to
robbed at
protect yourself
gunpoint.
against a gun. And this is the whole thing about Americans and guns that the rest of the world laugh at.
We just gonna do what the Detroit dude do.
Well, we just
Snatch
funny.
the gun out their hand.
Okay.
You know, like it's like that
funny.
thing where everyone's just like, yeah, you know the school shooting thing. Like, you know, what we should do to like stop school shooters. We should arm all the teachers with guns. Like that's the American like
Okay.
solution.
Now, who said that?
Like.
Yeah, I don't think there's a lot of people saying that, but okay.
But that's
in
what
America,
you're saying. It's like, oh,
but-
because I can get robbed with someone with a gun, I need to have a gun. But you know, it's gun
Okay.
safety, so I'm going to put this gun
I like
in this safe.
I like your
with
idea,
this thing
and it
because
ain't
I
real
don't
safe.
want. I don't
I
want.
like your
I don't want
idea
my
of
toddlers to get it.
like
So,
the idea that America could just like not have guns.
Oh, no, that's
yeah,
impossible.
that would be lovely.
Yeah, it's
There's
not
almost
happening.
1 billion guns in America. Many hundreds of millions.
Guns will never get banned in America.
Yeah,
It's not happening.
And realistically, every bad guy that I know has a gun.
And
So
then-
it's pretty much upon good people who want to protect their family and themselves to have a gun or some other way of protecting themselves, because the situation of somebody busting into your house is so common.
Yeah.
I mean, I live in a nice area and I have multiple guns stationed all over my house.
That's how it's
And
supposed to be.
Facts.
just recently, and I thought that when I moved to a nice area that this would probably not be the case, but it turns out it is the case. The other day, I'm on fucking LA Hood Media or whatever on Instagram, and I see a house that looks kind of familiar, and I realize that 4 guys with guns ran up in a person's house, maybe a mile away from my house, which
That's
is to say
crazy.
nothing of the fact that like Pop Smoke got killed like a mile or two away from my house. But again, people ran up in this person's house. And I'm not sure exactly even what happened, but I mean, you had 4 armed robbers run up in his fucking house. That could easily happen to me. I have a big ass gate outside my house, sure, but I mean, how likely is that to stop somebody? If somebody's really ambitious, they're hopping the fucking gate. I don't know. If you don't have a gun in your house in America, I think
You guys
you're
have the
tripping.
Citizen app? You see how much stuff happens?
I was downtown this morning. I just posted it. It was like somebody just got robbed 500 feet away.
Nah,
I'm like, what
seriously,
the fuck?
it's like popping up on the hour, every hour. People are getting robbed, stabbed, all types of stuff.
And it's a crazy state of affairs because we just had everybody yelping about like, oh, let's defund the police. Crime is gone up so much worse. I forget what they said. Murders are up like 100% more for this year than they were last year. The crime is at its all-time, or murders are at their worst in 15 years in Los Angeles. I mean, it's not like this is just something that people made up because they like guns.
I'd rather be a suspect than a victim.
Tell them.
That's it.
And you're telling everybody that you're a lick right now by talking about how you don't have anything to protect yourself in the house.
That's true.
That's all it's gonna take us one time. You're gonna be right here agreeing with us.
You been to the gun range before?
Yes.
Right situation.
How was it? Who took you?
Honestly, I think guns are a lot harder than I thought they were going to be. Tried out a different bunch of them. Some had really crazy recoil. It's so loud. Like, I think even if someone was to rob me, my skill with a gun would honestly put me in more danger. Right? Like, by the time that I'm just trying to remember to take the safety off, trying to remember how to hold it properly, like, I'm going to be there just like, oh, frick, I left the bullets out because I wanted to be safe. I'm going to try and find my bullets now. But for me, like, keeping a metal baseball bat next to my bed is easier and probably safer.
It's easier and probably 100% ineffective in an actual situation where somebody comes into your house with a gun. My thing is, I feel you, because the first couple times I shotgun at the gun range,
let's just say someone does
I felt like, okay, this is scary. Like, I'm not, it's weird having to memorize this sort of series of things, and it's not something you can just fuck with. You have to go to a special place to shoot it because it is so dangerous. That's why people do go to the gun range on a consistent basis to practice and make sure that they're up to speed, because it's a weird hobby. Like, if you like to skateboard, you could just go out in the yard here and fuck around with your skateboard and learn to kickflip, right? If you want to be a person who carries a gun, you owe it to yourself to spend a decent amount of time
I get
practicing.
that, but I fully believe that if someone wanted to rob my house and they came in with a gun, whether I had a gun or not, I would get robbed. Like, I would. I'm not.
But
I'm
it's
not
like your
tough.
lack of confidence in your ability to use a firearm properly is sort of allowing you to just be like, all right, I'll let somebody kill and rape me. Fuck it. I'll just,
We're not talking about killing and
me and my
raping,
family.
okay? But people, like, you talk about as if there's this like mentality of people just coming in, robbing people, raping them, and then killing them on a mass
It's called
level.
flu flam, and it's a real thing. A lot of our favorite rappers have written entire albums about
I
it.
promise you, it's happening.
Not the
very
raping
often.
part, but the shooting.
It's happening very often.
Maybe it's just not my circles then.
This
Maybe
is-
Yeah,
my
that's true.
circles
That's true.
I don't know anyone
That's
that
true.
knows anyone that has been robbed, raped, and murdered in their home. Like, I personally don't.
Okay. Well, the raping part, I agree, is extra.
Yeah,
that's a
that's-
certain type of sicko. But the people who want to just rob your house, that's pretty common.
Yeah,
Especially
and
if
I
they
would
know
let them rob
you
me.
have $5,000 in your house. You have
Look,
a wedding ring that's worth $20,000,
Listen,
etc.
even-
I mean, you're a target.
Even if I was walking down the street, going down, and someone decides to mug me, my choice would always be to hand over my wallet because my life is the most important. I don't want to put my life at risk by doing some bravado thing where I'm trying to defend myself when I know most likely any guy, because, pretty much any guy can overpower me very easily, like physically. Like,
Have you
I just
seen-
don't see the point in
More
putting my
reasons.
life at risk like that.
Have you
I would
seen
just be
John
like, you
Wick?
know what, here you go, here's my wallet, here's the stuff, let me go, and then, like, fuck,
I
that
don't know.
sucks.
I'm
But that's
still-
how I
that's a
take it because
fantasy world.
no, that is the
because people-
safest way for me personally to stay safe.
Have you seen John
But
Wick?
there's people who literally get killed after they get their stuff over. It can
And
there's people are just like
I get that, but like I think in that situation, if I was to try and fight back, my chances
Yeah.
of getting killed goes
Okay,
much
and
higher. So
even-
I'm gonna take
even
the
if you
path
carry
of
a
like,
gun.
most
Even if
safety.
you carry a gun, there are situations in which somebody should do something violent towards you, and you should still choose not to do it. Like, for example, I saw a clip of Hot Wings Cafe in Ventura, I believe, and there's a guy sitting there eating with his girl, and the dude just sort of comes up to him and puts the gun to him, and he does not have 1 second to reach for his own gun if he were to have one, etc. The guy just straight up puts the gun in his face. The dude hands over his Rolex, his girl hands over her watch or whatever it was, and the fucking robbers leave. And it was crazy because when I'm watching it, I'm like,
Yeah.
if that was me, and even if I had my gun in
Can't
my
do
fucking
nothing.
pocket ready to go, I would have handed over my Rolex if I wore a Rolex
sure.
because if I had reached into my pocket to get a
Right.
gun, then he's going to
Oh,
shoot
for
me
sure.
dead. And so in that situation, you're right. It probably is easier for you
Got
to
caught
just.
So like how many
Got caught slipping.
situations am I going to be in where me reaching for a gun and trying to protect myself is actually the safer option?
Okay.
I don't think me as a person has that many opportunities.
Let me just break it down for a completely logical level. If someone breaks into my house, you think it would be better for me to not have a gun, even though they have a gun?
I
No,
think so.
clearly it would be better for me to have a gun.
No, because I think a lot of people
You're actually saying no to that because I can't really respect that opinion. That's
Maybe
insane.
okay. First of all, don't have a criminal mindset. Not really sure how criminals think. That might affect this somewhat. But I feel like if I'm someone with a gun, I'm just gonna pretend I'm a criminal. But if I was someone with a gun and then I went into a house and then there's like a bunch of like a family and they're all like, oh my god, please take whatever you want. Versus I come into a gun and then there's some guy gung ho, like he picks up a gun. I'm gonna panic and then I'm gonna shoot. Right?
Most
Like,
people, when they
out of
break into a
those-
house, they don't actually want to catch a murder charge. That's one important thing.
Sure, but then they're gonna panic when they see a gun back at them. Would they rather catch a murder charge or be dead?
I mean, those are two very, very different
Right,
options.
because
Like a person
if they
breaking
go-
into a house,
if
that's
they see,
rarely
like,
going to be the two
if
options.
If they go up against a family that's like surrendering and their family's just like take whatever you want, you know, they're not gonna feel like I have to murder these people.
I'm surprised by the extent to which you seem okay with being a victim. It's a very non-American
It's not that-
idea.
It's not that they choose
You
the-
know,
it's not that
you
they
say that
choose
I have
that,
a
though.
victim mentality, but I say Americans have a paranoia mentality. Okay,
take that.
right?
Yeah,
Because you guys are all like, people are gonna come rob me. I have to have a gun to defend myself. I literally read a news article the other day when this guy, like, I don't know what, like, he was some guy and he thought someone broke into his house, so he shot them, and it was just his toddler that came out of the bedroom because like they had a nightmare or
I
some
saw
shit,
that
right?
story.
If
And
somebody's
then,
2
that-
feet
like,
tall and you
that's
shoot
what
them,
I'm
you got a
saying.
problem.
But like that's the mentality you guys have. Your mentality is like, oh my god, someone could rob me at any time, and I need to get my gun, and I'm gonna shoot them, and then you shoot your child, right? So that's a paranoia
No.
mentality, and I prefer to have a defeatist mentality or whatever, where I'm just like, you know what, I'm gonna assume no one's gonna rob me, and if someone robs me, holy shit,
There
that's
is a
pretty
middle
shit.
ground
But
between
I'm
carrying
going
a
to
gun
just be okay.
and murdering your child.
Right.
That seems like an extreme example of
And yet
one
it happens.
asshole.
It happens.
It
though.
happens,
It happens
but
more than once.
Just because you carry a gun doesn't mean you have to shoot your toddler.
No, but I'm saying
Yeah.
that's the mentality.
That's
No,
actually
that's not the
that's
mentality.
actually pretty rare.
Yeah, extremely.
Like
And-
I've
and-
I don't
never
know.
heard
You guys
that
are all
ever.
sitting here telling me we have to have a gun because someone's going to rob us and I have to protect
Every-
myself. That
everyone
sounds
I
like
know
that's
carries
what
a
I
gun.
get.
Everyone I know
I mean,
carries a
I'm
gun, and
trying
none
to
of them
tell
have killed a toddler.
In certain,
not saying
in
you're
certain
killing a toddler,
areas
but
and
I'm
cultures
saying
and
it's
how
the
you grow,
mentality.
You literally.
If you're going to tell me
let her
that
talk.
I have a
Let her
victim
talk.
mentality, I'm going to say you're paranoid.
Like depending on where you're from and where you grew up, like it actually is common like that. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Like I've personally been robbed at gunpoint. Like you get what I'm saying? Like
Did you have a gun?
At the time? No, I didn't.
Did you survive?
If I did, no,
Clearly
because
she
I gave him my stuff over because
Exactly.
I didn't have a gun at the
right,
very
so
time.
you
I
didn't
was in
have a
ro-
gun, you got robbed, and you
and
survived.
now I have a gun everywhere.
But you think that it would
I
be?
bet I won't get robbed.
You
again.
think that when someone put a gun in her face, that she would have been better off not having a gun?
Well, I mean,
That's
her
a
not,
that's
bizarre,
the- that's
not
the
bizarre
logic.
logic.
That's the
her
logic.
not,
That's the
not
logic
her
we're
not
trying to
having a
bring out.
gun. So far, 1 for 1, she survived. Let's see you get robbed, and you point a
Every
gun
t-
at them now, and then we'll
and-
come back and
and
see
guess
how
what?
it
I
goes.
never
Like
got
that'll be
robbed having a
statistically,
gun.
we'll see. So the
Never
robbery
got robbed
happened,
having a gun.
Yeah,
but
like,
that's you haven't got robbed yet whilst having a gun.
I
But
think
I'm just
about
saying,
my time
did
spent.
they know? Like, did
Harriet,
they know you
think
absolutely
about it.
didn't
They
have
Harriet,
a gun?
think about it. I worked on Melrose for all those years. I had this store, and there's
I
people
know
coming
it's
through
crazy.
all the time. Hella money, hella chains, etc. Nice ass
That's
clothes.
another thing.
And a lot of times I would be looking at them, and I would be thinking to myself, these motherfuckers would be robbed already
If they didn't have guns.
people didn't know. And it's not like they're flashing their guns. It's not like they woke up that morning and put their gun on their Instagram story. But anybody with half a fucking brain would probably assume that there's a
When
couple
you-
guns in this group of dudes.
When you see this, you know it come with it.
It's preventative. It's like, we can't just live in a society where we let only bad people have guns. And
I
you seem to
think-
be very, very okay with that, which I'm really surprised by.
No, I think it's just the difference in our cultures, in American gun mentality.
Your culture
and
has no
European.
guns.
I know.
That's why it's easy.
That's
It's
why I'm
easy to
saying
not
that.
have a gun when there's like
So
5
I'm not
murders in
saying-
England every year.
I'm not saying that I think
Gun
Americans should
murders.
get all over. Like, I'm not saying America should get rid of guns. I truly believe that your country is beyond that now.
Yes.
I believe gun culture is too entrenched, and I believe that, the moment that you did not do something after Sandy Hook happened was the moment that all hope was lost for the gun thing, right? Because we had guns in England, right? And then there was one school shooting and a bunch of 6-year-olds got killed, and that's when we were like, everyone give back your fucking guns right now, right? And that was the moment. And you guys had that moment with Sandy Hook and it didn't happen. So I was like, okay, this is it. This is American culture now.
Frankly,
and you do
I'm
what
glad
you do
because
with
realistically,
that.
I would like for the law-abiding
like,
citizens to have
right.
guns and not just the school shooters.
Right, no,
if
I
we
get
live in a
that.
country where the only people who have guns are the school shooters, then we're in a lot of trouble.
So bad.
If they really
so
try
I
to take
do
people
understand
guns-
that and I'm not advocating for Americans to get rid of their guns or whatever it is you're saying. Like I understand that your country can't do that, but I think I grew up too much without that culture that I just can't feel the same way you feel.
But why are you
If I
making it
get-
about your feelings?
If I get shot, right?
It's
getting
not about how
robbed,
you feel.
if
It's
I
about
get-
the
no, 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 no,
actual
no, no.
risk that actual Americans
I'm
just
are
saying.
in on a daily basis. I have been in a
It's
lot
a
of
mentality
situations
thing.
where if I didn't have a gun or if I didn't have somebody around me who I was paying to hold a gun, I would be dead right now.
But the way you make America sound so weird
No.
to me.
You're making
Because-
it sound like
no.
this is just some fantasy that I dreamed up.
You're
It's
making
not.
it sound
I promise
like
you.
every
No, it's
single
reality.
American,
It's reality.
millions
I'm
and millions
telling
of
you
Americans
about my
are
actual
walking-
experience as a
Yes,
human being
I
on
get that.
Earth. He's sitting here telling you, are there times in your life where you're pretty confident you would have got robbed or killed if you didn't have a
Absolutely.
gun? Yes.
Sure.
It's not just some paranoid fantasy that we're cooking up. You're from a place that has almost no guns.
But are you saying
and it was easy
all
for them to make
Americans
everybody
feel
hand.
this way?
We're not saying
Not all Americans. If I lived where I grew up, I would be very comfortable in New Hampshire without a gun. I lived there for a long time. I didn't have a gun. I think I was fine. Do I think that the people out there who do carry guns are bugging? No, because I'm sure that there are threats that they're
So-
aware of. But in
So-
Los Angeles, the gang capital of the United States, where there's more murders than almost anywhere else in the country, of course it's reasonable to carry a gun. I mean, come
Just
on.
beat my
Okay,
gun
well then
charge.
also I don't live in Los Angeles.
I did,
Again,
I
you're
did.
judging me for something that doesn't really apply to me because you're not going to judge someone from New Hampton for the exact same reason.
Hampshire. There's plenty of
Hampshire.
murders in the OC too, for the record.
You still live in England?
No, but that was what I was going to say. If I, get robbed and shot at gunpoint, my last thought isn't going to be, God, I wish I had a gun. It's going to be, God, why the fuck did I come to America?
That's fair.
That's
But
fair,
look, if
yeah.
they try to take people guns like on a large scale like that January 6th shit just gonna look like a warm up.
Oh hell no, we ain't
Yeah,
going
that
out
shit
without
is
a
not
fight.
cut- That's not happening.
I'm digging a hole in the backyard. We're gonna put the
Yeah.
guns there until the
It's-
inspectors leave.
Exactly.
It's gonna be
That's
ugly.
not
Like
happening.
it'll
That's
never.
another funny
That's not
thing. The
happening.
whole Second Amendment makes me laugh. The whole we're gonna have our guns so we can stop a tyrannical,
Bash
government.
America
Yeah, I know, right?
That's what the Second Amendment is for, right? So that the people can stand up against
gonna
like
turn
a
her
bad
over to
government.
ice.
But I just want to know. I just want to know,
Oh,
like,
shit.
I mean, like realistically speaking,
Like, I'ma
if your
always
government was
I'm
really
always
turned evil, they'd just drone strike you, and there's nothing your Glock's gonna do against that.
I'm gonna be very biased. I'm in the NRA. I carry guns every day. Like
I'm totally fine with that.
I can say,
But I'm
with
just saying, like,
full
for the Second
confidence
Amendment,
that
even-
carrying a gun and being a gun owner and stuff has made me massively more confident and just really like I feel a lot safer. Like it completes the presumed purpose of it, which is that you don't want somebody to be able to take advantage of you. And yes, of course, me shooting a robber is not like hugely likely, but me having a gun or someone knowing I have a gun and knowing enough to not fuck with me
Sure, exactly.
gives me the confidence
Exactly.
to be able, like it's strange to me that you don't seem to like get that.
Yeah.
And I just want you to understand it's not a paranoid fantasy that we've dreamed up here. This is how Americans
Then-
actually feel.
I do apologize for underestimating the severity of the criminal activity in the place that you actively choose to live.
What? We was born here.
Yeah, and I mean,
Born here.
in terms of the Sandy Hook thing, it's like, I mean, what were people supposed to do? Like, let's just turn over all of our fucking guns. Let's
That's
only
what a
let's only let illegal guns exist in this country.
I mean,
that
that's
doesn't
what
seem
a
like
lot.
a good
That's
plan.
what a lot of countries did when countries had
Countries with a
parallel-
lot less guns than ours.
And maybe that's the problem, And again, I'm not going to say America needs to change its gun laws. I think it's far too late.
Yeah.